I absolutely love everything about this classic French stew. How every bite is completely flavorful. How the broth perfectly coats every piece of tender, fall apart meat. And how the delicately cooked vegetables and onions bring just the right amount of sweetness to the dish. Plus, it's got bacon and wine in it. What's not to love? Today, I'm going to show you how to make beef bourguignon. So we're starting off this dish by seasoning the beef, and what we want to do here is just get some salt onto the beef, making sure that it's all nice and evenly coated. And I'm going to do quite a few cracks of black pepper here. So now it's time to add the bacon to a cold pan. What I want to do here is just let the bacon come to heat in a cold pan. I want to get all that fat rendered out of the pan. So I'm going to leave that there just for a couple of seconds just to heat up. And you'll see once it starts heating up, the fat starts to render out and it starts to turn a lovely golden brown color. Look at all that juicy, crispy bacon. That's beautifully rendered out. We're done with the bacon now. We're going to put it aside. So the fat that has been left from the bacon, we're going to take the meat now and start to brown the meat in that. And so what we're going to do is just take our meat one piece at a time. Don't overcrowd the pan here. What we're aiming for is a nice golden crust around each piece. Take your time and just make sure that each piece gets the attention it deserves. After that last batch of beef has been browned, we're now going to take our carrots and onion. If your pan's a little dry, don't worry, just take some olive oil, add it into the pan, making sure you just got a nice coating for the onions. And then we're going to take our onions and our carrots and put it to the pan. And the idea here is just to make sure that the onions and carrots are softened. You want to just make sure that they get a little bit of color on them, not to overcook them too much. And we're going to leave this for a couple minutes. And you'll see once you get a bit of sear on the carrots and the onions, you're going to take that out and put it into the Dutch oven. So it's been about 5 minutes now. The onions and the carrots have nicely been browned. It's time to transfer them into the Dutch oven. So this part for me is a little bit bittersweet. It's locked down. We are kind of in prohibition here in South Africa, so we're going to deglaze the pan with wine, and I'm going to pour 3 glasses of wine into the pan. We did have half a bottle open, so there's about 1 glass left. So we gaan kijken wie gaat drinken, Judith. How are we going to settle this?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, let's go.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, last one.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yes! Okay, I get the glass of wine. I'll get the glass of wine. I get a glass of wine. So cheers to me. So it's time to start putting everything into the Dutch oven. We start by putting the meat in first. The veggies and the onions are already in there. Next, we're going to take our deglazed wine and add that into the pot, making sure that we don't miss any of it. We want all that goodness in there. The wine is followed by the stock, and here we just want to make sure that we're just covering the beef. I've also prepared a bouquet garni of fresh thyme and rosemary, and we're just going to put that into the pot, making sure that it's covered with the water, followed by a bay leaf, and these are aromatics, so just going to make sure that there's some nice fragrance and aromas in the dish. We add our flour to the pot. And this flour, the purpose here is just to thicken the sauce. So when this is in the oven, flour just thickens up that sauce as it cooks over the next 3.5 hours. So after the flour, we're going to add garlic. And here we just want to make sure that as we're adding the ingredients, we're stirring the pot and making sure that all the ingredients come together. Followed by 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And we are ready to put this into the oven. Give it a good stir just to make sure that everything is nicely combined. The tomato paste, the garlic, the stock. When you're putting the lid on, leave a slight gap. What we want is for the sauce to thicken. The way that's going to happen is for evaporation to take place in the oven, so that sauce thickens up quite nicely, and then we're ready for a beautiful beef bourguignon. For the onions, get the pan on medium to high heat, add some olive oil and get those onions a bit brown, followed by 2 cups of stock, and then you simmer for half an hour to 45 minutes until the onions are soft. Next, get a healthy knob of butter in the pan. Add the mushrooms, followed by some salt and the chopped up thyme. Keeping your pan on medium to high heat, ensure that the mushrooms are seared and fully cooked through. So the beef bourguignon has been in the oven for about 3.5 hours, and it's time to see what's good. There you go. What I'm going to do is just remove the bouquet garni and the bay leaf from the pot. And my final secret ingredient is 72% dark chocolate. And what this is going to do is slightly thicken the sauce, but it's also going to give it a nice dark and sweet creaminess. So I'm just going to grab my lid here so I don't burn myself. And it's time to plate up so that meat is falling off the bone, as you can see, and that aromas are gorgeous. I'm very excited to eat. Then 1 or 2 of these onions that we roasted, some mushrooms, and now proof in the pudding, as they say. I'm going to try to get a little bit of everything on the plate. The depth of flavor that is in there is crazy. So guys, thank you for spending this time with me. There it is, my beef bourguignon. If you like this video, please like. If you want to keep in touch and see more videos coming out, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to keep in touch, and we look forward to seeing you next week.